Wright Tire and Service on West Fort Williams in Sylacauga is the right place for you. We carry the right tires for your car: Goodyear, Cooper, General, Michelin, and lots more. Wright Tire and Service is also your right choice when it comes to all of your automotive service needs. Whether it's an oil change, front-end alignment, brake service, or air conditioner work, make the right choice the first time and stop by Wright Tire and Service, Sylacauga.
This man is not a mime. He's merely expressing his joy of switching from his old bank to Heritage South Credit Union. His story unfolds through the rare, spontaneous exuberance of interpretive dance, which anyone can learn with a little help from Heritage South. Isn't it time you said hello to Heritage South?
Alabama State Parks, your other backyard. Brought to you by Alabama State Parks, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
And welcome to another edition of It's Talladega. Our guest for today will be Mr. Leland Fuller. He is the general manager for Coosa Valley Electric, down.
Right, Highway 77,
Talladega. Right downtown Talladega.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking with Leland. I've been knowing him for many, many years, and we're going to be talking with him about his past, not all of his past, but some of his past, and where he's been through the years and what he's doing now to make Talladega a better place to live, work, and worship. Leland, it's indeed an honor to have you with us.
Thank you. Good to be here.
If you would, just look in the camera there and just tell them about Leland and who you're for. I know your dad was a Baptist minister, worked at Bemis, with my mother and dad for years, and just share with the folks a little bit about your schooling and these type of things, and we'll go from there.
All right, I was born and raised, I guess, in Talladega. I've been here all my life, basically, except for a few years that I was in Birmingham working. And I remember I lived in Bemiston, and I remember the old coal bins and the milkman coming to the door and all that, and going to kindergarten down there.
And Mr. Bob Shows come around getting the slop up to feed his hogs.
Yeah. And swinging on the chinaberry tree and things like that. Of course, then my dad built a home out on the Ashland Highway, just off the road on Crestview Road. And so when I started the first grade, I went to Winterboro and went 12 years there. And then I went to Jack State, got a degree in accounting and economics. Went to work at Newberry Manufacturing and worked there for 20 years, and left there and went for a short period of time, well, for about two and a half years with Citation Carolina Corporation, which was a competitor of Newberry, a bunch of guys that had left and gone over there, and then my mother and dad was in bad health, and I came back to Talladega to work at Coosa in about '83.
Right. I know your dad, did your mother work at Bemiston? I know your dad.
Yeah, my mother worked for a short period of time there.
Well, your dad was there, 40 years, probably 35, 40, 50 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I know he and Dad and Mother worked together. And of course, I also know your dad is a Baptist minister.
Right.
Pastored some of the churches.
Yeah, the first church was Talladega Creek Baptist, and then he went to West Side Brown's Chapel in Sylacauga for several years. So he was a minister for, it seemed like all my, once we moved out to the Ashland Highway, seemed like forever. Until he died, he was a minister all my life.
Leland is involved in a lot of activity around Talladega, social events, civic events and so forth. And we're going to talk about Coosa Valley Electric and just a little bit about all the good things that are going on there. But Leland had a brother, and he had special needs, and I want Leland to share just a little bit about him and about his involvement with Omega Homes or Omega
Rainbow Omega.
Rainbow Omega.
Yeah.
If you would share with the folks just a little bit how you became involved in these things.
My brother was dropped at birth, and he had infantile paralysis. He had a stroke on the brain, which crippled him, and he had about 59 IQ or something like that, which he was pretty high operating. He played ball with us and did everything. Rode bicycles.
Let's play horseshoes.
Played horseshoes. He did everything we did, but usually did it better. Painted. He could paint like crazy, draw pictures and things like that. Kind of like you develop special gifts when you're a special person. And he went to the Burton Center. He started going there after Mother and Dad died, and he went there for a long time, I don't know, years. And he got down in health finally, and Mr. Stinson Carpenter one day came by and said he had a place for him. And it was a great thing because within 2.5 to 3 years, he passed away. And the doctor said he wouldn't live to be 40 years old. He lived to be 70.
7 years of age.
70 years of age.
I know, Leland, you were there today at Rainbow Omega for a special event.
Right.
And
It
brings
was-
back a lot of memories.
Right. It was for the new work center. Beautiful facility, a lot of donations, a lot of state and federal attendees there to celebrate the grand opening of a work center. Those clients there that do work for Honda, stuff in the service booklet that put in the dash of all the cars. And I went by through there and saw them working there. Of course, one of them, seemed to know me because I was out there a lot. And of course, I went up and went and visited the ICF unit where Wayne lived and passed away. So that is Talladega County and this state is so fortunate to have a place like that for the people of special needs to go to.
Burton Development, Rainbow Omega.
Burton, all of those. We, of course, the ARC, Burton Center, and South Talladega County here in Sylacauga, they also support. They have the ARC South and North, and we all support Rainbow Omega with donations.
We'll be going to a break shortly, but before we do, and we'll come back and talk about Coosa Valley Electric and what all's going there with all the industry that's coming in and how Leland and his group have been so instrumental in putting this park together and instrumental in bringing business to our city. But Leland, let's talk just briefly about your involvement with ARC. I know Coosa Valley Electric spends tons of money and equipment and so forth, have been putting this together for Brenda Burke. How did you get involved in this?
Well, I got a call. I don't know about tons of money now. The co-op didn't have that kind of money, but we
half a ton of money.
I was invited to come to a board meeting, and Brenda worked on me and got me to join the board. And because of my brother, I saw, and going to the Burton Center, saw so many other people that, really you live your life in your own little world, and then all of a sudden you see so many others of great need. And with my brother started there and everything, so I joined the board, and at first when they had Sunshine Saturday, they mostly had little games down at the park, kind of around that putt-putt course, and I just I thought, well, we need to get the teenagers and the adults out there, not just the real small kids. So we fabricated the batting cage, went over the Talladega fence across the street down to East Street, and I forgot the guy's name now, but we fabricated the batting cage out of all the fittings and all that, and then bought the net and bought the pitching machine for the batting cage. And then we got a radar speed pitch and had a Wheel of Fortune built, bought a basketball goal, big basketball goal, so we bought prizes for that, and the balloon sales. And then I met a guy that, Ronnie Busby, that had various the big blow-up slide and all that. So little by little, we've added things, and we pretty much take care of the upper part of the park, and we want it to be like a big county fair, and we have a huge crowd.
This past season was, I think, probably one of your better ones.
Oh, yeah, it was a great crowd, great day, real beautiful day. And one of the things, too, it's not just us that's involved. It's not money from us especially. Our Power South, our power supplier, also pays for one half of any of the costs we incur there, if you're a Touchstone Energy Co-op and you're out doing public things like that, and then they will share in that cost. So, but then again, the biggest thing is that our employees donate their time to come down there. And a lot of times they're down on Thursday. In fact, it starts a couple of months before, and on their time they're working. And then that day, we have a huge group of Coosa Valley employees down there working and donating their time for that.
That's great. I really appreciate this. I know Miss Brenda, we had her on our program just a week or so before the Sunshine Saturday, and we were hopeful it would help boost it and help bring out the attendance. Of course, the weather cooperated with us, and I don't believe I've ever seen a larger crowd at the park than this particular Saturday. But I think this is what makes Talladega so great, folks, is folks like Leland Fuller and Brenda Burton, all the folks that are working to help promote Talladega, and not only business-wise, but other activities going on. We got to go to a break, and we'll be back, and we're going to talk about Coosa Valley Electric.
Welcome home, man.
And counting, we are go for a mission to the moon at this time. The second stage tanks now pressurizing. We're coming up on a power transfer. 50 seconds.
One trip to the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama, and you can show your kids the space program in ways that no textbook ever could. You'll learn the history of the Apollo missions, how to pilot the space shuttle, and that the moon is actually just a short drive away in Alabama.
Alabama State Parks, your other backyard. Brought to you by Alabama State Parks, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
And welcome back to It's Talladega. Our guest today is Mr. Leland Fuller. He's general manager of Coosa Valley Electric, and we're going to be talking about what all Coosa Valley Electric means to our city, of course the county, and throughout the areas that they represent. Leland, I know you've been with the Coosa Valley Electric now, what?
Since '83.
Since '83.
Right.
And we're not going to get involved in past history as such, but I know when you went there, your office was down on East Street.
Right.
And I recall some of the old days that things did not run as smooth as it is now.
Right.
If you would share with the folks that might not remember the old days, the condition that you found Coosa Valley Electric in when you became general manager, and where you have come from those days.
Well, you know, don't want to go back too far, but you know, it had been inefficient management, and the first thing I checked as far as being a financial person was the efficiency of the system, and our line losses, the difference in the power we bought and the power we sold, the differences going into ground is, you know, just wasted power. Very much inefficient. It was really bad, really bad. I mean, I was really shocked. And my question was, being new in the industry, was what's going on? Well, you go out and Mr. Baker took me out, and here's the problem. The lines, no rights of way being cut, trees all on the lines, small copper lines that inefficient in carrying the power, that caused blinking lights, terrible service. And the people were very upset about it. And so our membership put their trust in us, and in '86 we made pledges that we would give good service, and we would cut the right-of-ways, and we would move from downtown Talladega and onto our system. See, we were on Alabama Power's downtown service downtown, so we moved out on our system out on 77, and we built a nice facility out there within our budget, and we've added to it as we went along. But we cut our right-of-way. We were very efficient. We went from like a 17% average a month line loss now to about 5%. So just the savings of that for the money we borrowed to upgrade the system. A lot of things we've done is pull the power lines out along the highways so we can maintain them and find the lines if they do go down.
Right.
So as far as the efficiency of our system and service, we feel really good about that.
Have you gone to reading meters electronically
Yes,
power
yes.
company has?
Yes, I think it was January of last year. We went to reading the meters remotely. In fact, disconnect, reconnect meters remotely. So you're talking about, with all the increase in gasoline, and people at the hourly rates of about 9 people going around the system reading all those meters every month
Saved a lot of
was
money.
a huge cost. Now, we had contract people doing that, so we didn't lay off anybody, but now we can read all the meters remotely. Most meters are disconnected remotely or reconnected remotely. Some consumers that have problems paying their bill at once a month, say if it's $150, $200 a month, we call it, it's a prepaid metering system, our program, where they pay $50 a week or whatever, and every week as they get paid, they buy $40, $30, whatever, and say they can call in by credit card or whatever, and
Helps them manage a lot better.
and manage their power bill
Right.
as they get paid, kind of pay as
right.
you go.
Coosa Valley is not only in the electric supplying business, but they also gasoline or gas for the
Propane.
propane gas, and also home appliances and so forth.
Right.
You want to share a little bit about that?
Well, in about 94, 95, after the 93 snowstorm and all, a lot of the consumers came to us complaining, especially some of the small commercial and all that came to us complaining about not being able to get propane. And it seemed like some of the dealers had jacked the prices up and things like that, and selling it to residential because that markup was a lot better. And asked us to consider it. We considered it, had a meeting of the membership. They voted, my goodness, it was only 5 dissenting votes among those there, around 1,000 people there. So we went into the business, and over the last several years we've been we've made good margin. Well, we made margins, but we provide, you know, we provide propane to our consumers as well as anybody that's on any other electric system. So we don't just stay with Coosa Valley Electric.
How many customers do you serve in your area? And how many, Coosa Valley Electric is how far over Alabama?
Well, we go in, if you take from I-20, if you look at that corridor there, I-20, 280 running, we go into right at the edge of Jefferson County over around Vanderbilt. And we run inside that kind of like that triangle as it comes down all the way into Clay County. Then we go from the edge of Fayetteville and around the lake down Lay Lake all the way into Etowah County and Calhoun, Talladega, Clay, St. Clair, Shelby.
How many customers?
So 6
do
counties.
you have a number?
We have about 17,000 meters.
That's a lot of folks.
Yeah.
And you start walking off reading those meters, it was time to go to.
Yeah, it was time to read them remotely.
Leland, and we're going to find out in just a moment. I'm not sure I know when the Coosa Valley Electric actually got involved in industrial recruiting and who was actually responsible. If you would share with them, Leland, how y'all got involved in this, and you've just gone from nothing, I guess, to you just blossomed out, and this just unreal out there.
In 93, 94, we were looking for a site to build our new office. We felt like we had gotten there economically and financially where we could build a facility. And so it was my job to go out and find a site. I looked at a lot of places for the site. And that used to be a junkyard there, a Jeep junkyard, Jackson's, I think it was. And was able to, he was able to move down at the corner of 34 and 77. And I was able, not only in dealing with all the families that was involved in that land, I took a chance and I said, okay, we need 20 acres for our site. There was like 148 acres in that whole thing, and I was dealing with basically all the same people. So I went ahead and got options on the other 128 acres. And lo and behold, it was shortly after that, within maybe a year after that, about 95, the feds came out, USDA came out with, USGA came out with a program that was called a revolving loan fund.
Right.
And it was like $480,000. So working with EDA, we facilitate the funds. We loan the funds to EDA. They took our option and bought that land, and then us working with them, we sold the trees off and put a roadway and a cul-de-sac up in there. And little by little, as we put up a spec building, and Power South, our power supplier put up about half the cost of that building. We put up part of it, and then First National Bank partnered with us, and they have partnered with us on every one of the spec buildings. So First National Bank, Talladega County EDA, Calvin Miller, and Coosa Valley, and then when the building sells and the land sells, then all of us get our money back. So basically, we started that. We built 3 spec buildings. The first one went to Pittsburgh Glass Works, who's is glass for automotive, various automotive companies that build. And then we built one in Ohatchee, a 40,000 square foot building. But just building that building next door, we got a lot of looks. Scott Industries came in.
Right.
New South Express, Allen Architectural, and now with MTech coming in, which is a big power load, and around 200 employees to start. And with all the, and see, not only that, we went up to, we helped Legacy get started from the ground up. It was almost an incubator, and I don't know how many employees they have now, but I know they had close to 400, 450 at one time before the economic slowdown. But I went and negotiated with the guy for the land and helped them, work with them to get the land. And in fact, we facilitated some federal loans that they paid back in helping them to expand. And in the meantime, You had several other SD Systems has moved in. I knew the guy in Oxford. Avigen is out on 21. That building, was empty. So we worked hard, and we probably, I'd say, over 2,000 jobs have been created. And not only when we looked at what would working in this program do for Coosa, and number one, it helps our sales, which a big load like that, you can sell a whole lot of KWH at a big plant like MTEC, for instance. That's a big power load. Well, that helps the efficiency of our whole system and helps all the other consumers, in paying the bills. Not only that, that's 200 jobs that is created that hopefully our consumers can get jobs there and buy homes or build homes on our system. So it's like putting more and more into the pot. I know Calvin's done a great job down here in Sylacauga with a lot of different factories and plants coming in here and over in Childersburg. Right. But in this county, I think we work, we have the best thing going for us.
I appreciate you being here. I appreciate what you guys doing there. And just go build another spec building.
Yes, sir.
I know you don't have any right now.
I was out this morning when you called.
Good.
We've got, looking at spec building.
Got about a minute and a half, I think, left. But the building you had was a spec building.
Right.
And this is exactly what they needed.
Right.
So our plans now to build another spec building,
right.
You said,
right across the street.
Any prospects? Fill it up?
I don't know. I haven't had any come out and
look
at the ground. But
Leland, I really appreciate what y'all are doing, and it's this is what makes Talladega so great with folks like I said earlier, with Leland and Coosa Valley Electric people, everyone working together. Talladaga's open for business, folks.
That's right.
And we're constantly, this 2,800 acre park out Brecon, I'm not sure if y'all are going to be servicing it or be Alabama Power.
Part of it.
But part of that's going to be good.
Yeah.
And then it's just, everything's going great. We appreciate you tuning in. Tune in next week for another edition of It's Talladega.